How can you take yourself out of your limiting box? Why do we make excuses? So I ain't gonna go through and edit this videos because I really want all the extra stuff, the words, the why do you make excuses, but I ain't even gonna do all that. So we just gonna talk. And really it's just the thing I think that's important for you to ask yourself, like, why do you make excuses for yourself? Why do you make excuses for other people when either you don't do something that makes yourself feel good or another person doesn't do something to make you feel good? Because every time you do this, you're either reinforcing a belief within yourself or you're desensitizing it. When you're reinforcing a belief within yourself, what you're doing is you're making it bigger. Okay, so we always want to grow the good in us versus the self-sabotaging within us. Okay, so if you have a belief that I'm not good enough, why should we be in a relationship, or why should we do things that continuously make us feel like we're not good enough? All we're doing is reinforcing that belief versus desensitizing it. If you fat and you want to lose weight, because some fat people like being fat, it's okay. Like, yeah. Can I edit that part out? No, I'm not even gonna edit it out. Some people like being big, and some people love themselves for who they are, or they say they love themselves for who they are because they've accepted that they can't do anything different. So think about that. How many things in your life have you told yourself you accept about yourself only because you feel like you can't do anything different? Why? Because you have reinforced the belief within yourself that you can't, versus desensitizing it. Now, since I'm on the example of people that are overweight, I guess let's continue. Let's just talk about that. How can you desensitize that? You can hire a coach. You can get a meal plan. You can start cooking. You have to do things that are going to reinforce your belief in change. Okay. And also know this, because I don't really understand how people think they can fuck up their whole life and then change their life in 24 to 48 hours, So it's always interesting when people 125 years old and they come to me and they like, Jonathan, I've been working with you for 3 months and stuff still ain't different. You 125. Like, it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna need a little longer. But it's not even about you coming to me or working with me, but just in general, your change. You have to give yourself an opportunity to change. Like, people will say, oh, it takes, I think, 30 days to build a new habit. Actually, psychology shows that it actually takes 67 days to actually begin to change a habit. All right. So again, we're going to go back to, why do we make excuses? Why do we allow ourselves to be in situations that don't evolve us, that don't elevate us, that don't allow us to be free? I was just talking to TT a couple of minutes ago, and she said something so good. She said, I'm so tired of saying that I'm working on myself and I'm doing this. And she said something else, and then she was like, cancel and delete. And I told her, I said, you know what? You just got to get to a point sometimes you just say, fuck it. Because I get tired of saying cancel and delete sometimes myself. Like, oh, Jonathan, you're overwhelmed. Cancel and delete. You know what I do now? I say, Jonathan, you're overwhelmed. I say, fuck it. That's what I say. And it helps me. So it works for me. Because it's like, cancel and delete is like, but fuck it. It's like, bitch better have my money. It's like you putting on that trap music and you just, let me see if I can get that song on my phone real quick. Okay, I ain't going to do all that right now. But, so going back to whatever I was talking about in the beginning of this video. Why do we make excuses for ourselves? I'm getting serious now, kind of. A lot of times I find through working with people, we make excuses for ourselves because we don't really think we can. And since we don't think we can, and we don't have people around us that surround us that encourage us and that hold the space for us to know that we can, that just further reinforces the belief that we can. Because all we see when we turn on the news, when we turn Facebook on, we do all these other things is, I can't do it. The world is in total chaos. The world is in total shambles. What makes me think that I can and will be better? And that's why it's so important to know how to go in you and establish trust within yourself. Because, of course, if you go to church on Sunday, depending on what type of church you in, because some churches, y'all do be there all day. It's like a job. You be there for 6 to 8 hours. Some churches go there for an hour. But that's more so when you just sitting and you listening versus allowing things to really penetrate you to the point where you begin to embody it. See, I want to say that's why the Bible says you got to study the word day and night. For me, that means you got to keep yourself inspired. You have to keep yourself in a place of receptivity to something greater. You can't really turn a blind eye to the fake, the bad. Well, honestly, most of us turn a blind eye to the good versus the fake and the bad. Most of us, we be like, oh, that's good. Oh, it's too good to be true. That can't happen to me. But as soon as something bad happens, it's like, oh, this is my life. This is my life. Everything always fucking up. Everything always messing up. So we have to learn. And today we have to put to rest making excuses for not receiving our good. We have to get to a place that's what we expect. I expect good to show up in my life. I expect God to show up in my life. I expect God to demonstrate everything good in my life. Now, this is another thing. I'm hearing Spirit say this. Just because things may look crazy in your life right now, God has a special delivery for you. Sometimes God has to deliver your good in the package of chaos to bless you, but also to grow you so that you can keep the good so you don't throw it away.